Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel TubeGuruji. And today we are going to develop the news application, the Apple News applications, and we can say 2.0 with the help of React Native. Okay, and we are building complete application from the scratch. If you don't know anything about the React Native, don't worry because I will teach you all the concept of the React Native in this video. So let's see what we are going to build today and then we'll see what we are going to learn in this video. So this is complete tutorial video, and if you see, right, we are designing this beautiful application. I gave the TubeGuruji News the application name, and you see the list of um, news, right? If you want to go to the latest news, you will go and it will open the latest news for you. Let's see, right? We have horizontal scrolls, then we have vertical scrolling. Then if you want to open any of the news, just click on that news and it will open for you, right? And it will show the details of the news. Also, you can read this news, just click on read more and it will open the URL of the source for this news. Also, you can share this particular news with your friends, okay, on WhatsApp or any on Facebook. Also we will learn about the navigation. The If you see this category sliding, right, that also we can implement the loading effect and many more things. So guys, watch this full video and I hope you will love this video and the tutorial. And if you did not subscribe to my channel, go and subscribe, because if you want to get more video like this, then press the bell icon as well. So guys, without doing any further delay, let's begin. So today we will going to learn a lot of things in this project. So first we will learn how to create a React Native slash Expo application. Then we will understand the different types of hooks like use effect, use navigation, and lot of things. Then we will learn how to do styling in the React Native, and the most popular, how to use the flat list. So in this video we'll teach how to use flat list in a horizontal way or vertical way and with many properties. Also, then we will learn how to call the API. We will register for one free news API, and we will learn how to call the any API in our application. The next and important part is how to do the navigations and routing in the React Native. And we will also learn how to pass data between the parent components to child component and child component to parent components. Also, we will learn about the in-app browsing. So if we want to open some external URL inside our application, we will learn about that one, and how to open that particular URL outside the application. We will also learn that one. And then in the last, we will publish our application so that user can use it, your friends can use it. And there are a lot of many more things we will learn in this particular uh, video course. So guys, watch this full video, and before doing any further delay, let's begin. So let's create a React Native app. So in order to create the React Native app, we are using the Expo. So there are two ways we can create the React Native application. One with Expo and without Expo. The reason is to create the application with Expo, it helps us to build the application much easier and much faster. If you are a beginner, then I will suggest go with the Expo. All the features which are needed, like any native features you want in the your application, Expo will provide all everything and each feature for the application. Okay, and it's very easy to use, so that's the reason we will use Expo. If you go to the expo.dev, right, you will see this their homepage. So let's go to documentation, and here you can see the statement to create the expo, right, application. So you can install the Angular CLI first if you did not install. Okay, and there is a some steps, and you have to create the account. And with this Expo, you can directly use your device in order to test the application, okay, in the real time. If you don't have emulator, or you can use emulator as well. Okay, so just go and install this Expo first, okay, using the CLI. And in order to create the application, here are the some step or some command, you can use it. Okay, and open command prompt in the desired location, and here you can type the in order to create a project, you have to type the command. So the command is npm create expo app and the application name. In this case I will write Apple News 2.0. Okay, Apple News. It will take some time to create the project, to install all the packages and dependency. So our project is created. Let's go to the project folder using the cd Apple News, and once you are in that project folder path, just open the VS Code with the help of command line code space dot. Now it will open this our application in your VS Code. Okay, now let's understand the folder structure. If you see on the left hand side, you will see this .vs code. Just ignore that part. In this folder, the assets, all your images and everything is stored in this folder, right? Then we have this app.js, which is our starting point for the application. Okay, and so your code will be start here. You have to write start writing code in the app.js file. Then we have app.json file where we will write all our application configurations like application name, the slug name, what is the version number for the applications, the icons, the package name for the Android application, iOS application, etc. Okay, and this package.json is it define where what are the dependencies installed and with the version number and script to run the applications. Okay, so this is all our file structure. When you create the application, then creating the files and folders is very important in order to maintain the application structurized way. Okay, now let's run the application. So go to the terminal here, click new terminal. So in VS Code it will open the terminal for you, and just type expo start. Okay, so there are two way you can run the application. I will explain both of the way. So just type expo start, and it will ask you want to use another port, because I already using this port, right? So I will say yes, and it will open the browser. Okay, and in the browser, you will see on the left hand side you will see there's some option, right, to run the application or to publish the application, a lot of things and a lot of options, right? Now, as I say, in order to run this application in your device, right, you have to choose the connection type as a tunnel. Okay, so what will happen, you have to install the application from the Play Store or App Store, depending on whether you are using the Android or iOS phone, and then you have to download Expo Go app. You have to log in it, and then once you in the same network, right, and when you click the tunnel, you will see this URL, and then you can access your application, or you can scan this QR code as well. Okay, and this will open the Expogo app and your application will get running on that device. Okay, so for this project, I will use Android device emulator, because it's easy for me to show it while we are doing the coding. So let's run on the Android device. So if you don't want to know how can you add an emulator, right, in a Windows PC, then I will create a video for you. Just let me know in the comment section. So it's building. So this is my Android emulator. Okay, and if you see on the bottom side, it's saying building, right? So it will take some time when you are launching first time. Okay, so it takes some time to. So if you see, our application will completed and app is loading successfully. Okay, and it's showing the message like open up app.js to start working on your app. Now if you go to your code and go to app.js. As I told you before, that this is our starting point. So if you see in the text, right, so it's mentioning the text, whatever you are able to see on the screen, right, is same text, you see. Okay, so you can write anything. For example, I will write welcome to Guruji. Okay, and if I save it, you will see this message. Okay, now let me explain what is this app.js is. So in the app.js, right, this is our starting point, and in a view, if you know the HTML CSS, right, we have div tag here. In order to display the data on the screen in a mobile, you have to use word view itself meaning to show, right? And just ignore the style part for now. I will explain how it works and all. Then we have text uh, tag, and inside tag we enter some text, right? And ignore this one as well and save it again. So let's start creating files and folder for our application now. If you see our application, right, this is the home page for our applications, right? So first we'll create the home page, and then on the top section you'll see this beautiful uh, application name. Then we have this bell icon, right, and then we have this slider. So we can call it a slider, and then we have slider of the news. Okay, and then we have vertical sliders, vertical list of news, right? So we will divide this each section into the components, so and then we will bring together, okay, in one single page. So first let's create some files and folders. So here we will, in the main directory, right, we'll create a folder called app. Okay, and inside the app we will create the folder, we can name it like pages or screen. Okay, oh sorry, so we have to create a folder actually. So inside app we will create a folder called screen, and inside that folder we can create one file called home.js. Okay, so we are writing in the JavaScript, so that's the reason I gave the extended .js, and which is our home.js, which is our home screen. Okay, again inside the app we'll create another folder called components. Okay, and inside these components I will create one more folder called home. This home component can be used in the home section. That's the reason I call home. Okay, and inside home we can call so our, if you see our uh, screenshot, right, so we have this first thing, we have this categories slider, we can say. Okay, so I can create call category slider dot js. Okay, text slider. Okay, and then we have top headline slider dot js, and then we have headline list dot js. Okay, so three files I created. In VS Code we have one extension called React Native snippet. Okay, so I will say just go and install this one. This is very helpful in order to create a default template within a few words. So for example, let's go back in our project, and for this category text slider, right, I will just type rfc and it will create a template for me, right? So it is a React template, but just remove this one and we will wrap this in a view, because we want, so we want to show our data on a screen, right? So if you see, right, you have to, once you add this tag, you have to make sure that you will install this, you will import this view dependency, right? So if you see, I install the I import this view from React Native, right? You have to make sure that you will do it, otherwise you will get error. So for example, if this is not important and I save it, let me check. Okay, so it's not giving error because I did not I'm not using this component yet, right? But if I go to the home.js, right, and let's create a default template here first. Inside template I will create a view. Inside I will write text here for now. Okay, so I will say home page. Okay, and inside that I will just import this category text slider. And if you see the top right is imported automatically. If it's not, then you have to put the cursor point at the end and just click on control and space. Okay, you will get option to add it, and once it's installed, save. Okay, so if you see the emulator, right, it's not affecting anything. The reason is it disconnected from our metro. So what you have to do, you have to refresh it again. Okay, or otherwise you can just type R in the terminal and it will reload for you. Okay, so still our home, we are not pointing to home, right? Because as I say, app.js is our starting point. So remove this text for now, and if you see blank on the screen, okay, and just add this home component inside .app, right, and make sure you will import it and save it, right? Once you save it, you will see this home page text appear on the screen. Okay, because in the home component we have this home page component. And let's try to add this category text slider, then you will see this error. Okay, that view does not exist because we did not import that view. So go to the category text slider and make sure you will import this view. Okay, so make sure you import this view in from the React Native and not the slash type. Okay, so React Native and save it, and now you will see the home page. Okay, so right now we don't have anything in the view. So for example, if I add here the text, I want to add the text, right? So just go to the text and make sure you import the text again from the React Native, and here inside that you can mention the text what you want to show. Okay, so you see TubeGuruji homepage. If you see right now it's coming in the middle because in app.js, right, we have applied this style, right? And if you see, this is how we can apply the style dot container. So in the container the style is different, right? And so it's saying the align item and justify container in the center, so I will remove it and save it. Okay, so it's going in the top of the section, right? So make sure in the Android, right, you have to give the padding from the top manually. Okay, if you are using the iOS, right, you have the one tag called shape area view which automatically uh, gave the padding. Okay, so right now what I will do, I will use some padding top. Okay, give 20 and it comes down, right? That's what we want. Now let's go to home page. I will remove this one, okay, because we don't want it now, and we will work on the category text slider only because first thing we want to display this one, TubeGuruji news. Okay, so so in the home page, right, so remove this. This is not where we will show. So category slider will come here, right, and here we want to show the app name. So in the text you have to mention TubeGuruji news, for example. Okay, and if you see, right, go here, so we have some apply some font and some color as well, right? So there are two ways that you can apply the style. Okay, the first way we can call inline styling. Okay, so here how you can do that, the style. Okay, then you have to give that in the double curly braces, you have to define style, right? It's similar to the CSS but not exactly. So for example, here you want to increase the font, so you have to write font size. Okay, and then how much font you want to increase, like 24. We are not giving any pixels or something like that, just the number, and save it. Okay, if you see on the right hand side the font it increases. right? Then you comma, and then you have can increase the, you have um, font style, oh sorry, font weight. So I will give bold, right? And then that color, right? So here is thing, right? In our application we are using the color again and again, right? So instead of defining the color code every each component, every screen, you can define the color at one file, and you can use it. Okay, so let's, for now let's define a color here. So I will say color, and let's say red for example, right? And we say the color is the text is showing in the red. Okay, so this is how you can uh, do some styling, right? It's called inline styling. Now let's do the external styling. So external styling, right? After outside this function, just type rnss with the help of extension, right? It will create the template for the style sheet. Make sure you will import the style sheet. So do control space and import the style sheet from the React Native. And here you can define the style. Okay, so you can, I will just copy paste this one and paste it here. Oh sorry, so we have to define the class or the style name, right? So I will write heading, okay, or maybe the app name, okay? And here you can define the style. Now to access the style here, right, you just need one curly braces, and then you have to define access from the styles dot application name and save it. And if you see, our style is still there because we are using same style. If I change the color to green, it will change to green. Okay, so hope you understand the styling, because everywhere we are using the styling, right? Mostly we will go with the inline styling. Now let's define the colors in a separate file. Okay, so go to the app, and here we can create one folder called shade, so where we can put all the shade resources here, right? And inside that I'll create one file called color.js. Okay. So in color.js I already have this couple of three colors. So this is my primary color, it's kind of blue. Then I have gray color, and then light gray. Okay, and then you have to just export and default, say mention export default, so you can access this color. So for example, let's go to our home.js file, and for this application name, right, it's showing green before, so you can access by colors. Make sure you will import this, and then, and if you click on, so if you enter dot, you will see these three options, right? Because we have three color in the color.js file. So in this case I will select the primary and save it. So if you see this, right, the none of this file exist because we created in this newly file, and application don't know it's not bill actually. So that's the reason it's not getting bill. So I will stop this server. So, and now if you see, right, I just run this application and color file is imported, right? And now you can able to see this TubeGuruji news, right? And that's what we want it, right? But if you see, we need to give padding from all the side. So in order to do that, go to the app.js, and throughout the application we can give padding, right? In the container you can mention padding to 20 and save it, and it will give padding, correct? Perfect. So next we want the uh, bell icon like this. So this is one more one site called icon uh, expo, right? So you can type expo icon, so it will open this icon.expo.fyi site, right? Here you will see all type of icons. Just search what icon do you want. For example, I will say bell, so you'll see bell icon, right? So select the one which you want, right? So in this case, let's enter notification. This is much better actually. let's search the better one. So I will select this one, right? The notification outline. Click on it and you will see this import statement. Just import it. You don't need to install any dependency for it because it's by default when you install the Expo app, right? And in home.js, import this statement and go back and copy this statement as well, which you want to use it, right? So I will use it here and save it. And if you see, why it's not coming? Okay, yeah, it's getting some delay, but if you see, right, this bell icon is not showing on the screen. Now we want in the same line of this application name, so I will wrap this text and ion icon, another view. Okay, and we can give some style, right? So I will give the inline style in this case, so we can show it as a display as a flex, and then we can show the flex direction. The direction of the flex which we want is a row, and save it. If you see, it's in line, and we want this bell at the line, so we want to give space right between these two items. So just define justify content, and it will say space between, and save it, right? And also this, if you see, this bell icon is at the little top, right? So add align item, and which need to be a center, right? And if you see, this changes right now is in center. So I will increase this font size to 25, and also the size of this icon also 25. Okay, and now if you see, it's working perfectly. With this slider, okay, so go to our category text slider, and make sure you will import this in a home.js file. Okay, so you added that in our home.js, and our category slider text is displaying because we added it here, right? So I already have some category which I'm going to use, right? So I enter in a category list on the array of object with the ID and the name of the category. Okay, if you see, everything is here. So what you have to do, remove this text for now, and we want to show this category, right? So you have to iterate that particular list of object, right? So in order to do that, Expo or React Native, we are using flat list in order to show this list of the category, right? So in order to define it, you can use flat list, import it, and inside the flat list there are some properties. So what data need to be low in this list, right? So you have to define data, and what data, the name of this category list. So let's say category list, okay, and now you have to render that data, right? So just type render item, inside that double curly braces like this. So this curly braces, just don't forget it because this is very important, okay? And then like this. So here you can write what you want to show it, okay? So in this case, for example, I will say view. So I will say touchable opacity. So what is touchable opacity, right? Let me explain this one, okay, in just a minute. So in touchable opacity, provide some functionality, right, which view cannot provide. For example, if you want to click the item, right, so touchable opacity will provide the on press function. When you click on the particular item, the click event will occur. But if you go to the view, right, you can't use this on press event, which is very important when you want to click the item and all. That's the reason we use touchable opacity. We have different type of touchable, which is touchable highlight, touchable opacity. The opacity which give you some click animation, right? I will show you how it looks. So right now, just inside touchable opacity, right, we will define in a text, we will define this list of more category. So just in the curly braces, right, you can define item dot and name. So we want to show the name, right, this name. So, and this is the item which we are going to iterate every time. Item nothing but this object, okay, and we are accessing each object name. So just type item dot name and save it, and you will see we have all this object name now: latest, world, business, sport, live, and movie. But it is vertical, right, and we want horizontal. So flat list by default give you the result in a vertical format, but in this case we want a horizontal. So in the flat list, in order to define horizontal, right, just type horizontal. I want horizontal flat list, right? So it's a true or false. By default it's a false. So if you define the horizontal like this only, that's also fine. Or you can define like horizontal to be true and save it. Now you see it's coming horizontally. Even though if you define like this, that also work. Now give some styling to the text. So inside text, I will give some inline styling. So I will give margin from the right. I want 10. Okay. Then we want to give some font. We want to increase the font size. So I will give some 17. Okay. Then I want font weight to be bold. Okay. And we'll give some more margin between these two items. That's the reason I kept margin right. Okay. And now if you see, it's scrollable, right? That's what we want. But you will see this bar, right, horizontal scroll bar, and we don't want that one. It's not look good. So what you have to do for this flat list, we have another property called show horizontal scroll indicator, and we have another vertical bug. We are not using vertical for now, so just define horizontal, right, and mention it. So false by default is true, and save it. And now if you try, the scroll bar is no more. Okay. And let's go to our application. If you see, this font is a little bigger and we have margin on the top as well. So here we can give the font to be like 20. Okay. And for this touchable opacity, right, for this view, because this whole component, we can give margin from the top. So give margin top maybe 20, not 20, 10. Okay. And this is perfect, fine. Now another way, if I want to click any of this, right, you will see this effect, right? So what happened in when you are using the touchable opacity, you will see this light effect. But if you use the touchable highlight for example, right, and see the result, it's not showing anything, right, because it is clickable but it's not giving any effect. That's the reason I use opacity. It's up to you what you want to use, but opacity give you the nice animation. Okay. Now when I click it, I want to change the color of this particular category, so user can able to see, okay, this is the selected category or active category, you can say. So in order to do that, first define some variable, right? So in a React Native, we can call as a inbit hook using the use state, right? So just define constant. You can say set you can store in active and set active in order to set the value for this active variable. And this is the inbuilt hook in order to use state, right? So by default we can say first element. Okay, and save it. And let's go back here. So what you have to do, you have to change the color, right? So what I have to do, in this case, I will remove the styling and I will put it as external styling, right? You need to style sheet, import the style sheet. I will unselect text, for example, and inside that you can define it, right? Just remove this extra, yeah, right. And for unselect text, right, I will apply this style sheet, and I will give the color to be gray from our colors of file, gray. Okay, and is we are giving error because we don't have any style sheet for now, right? And just access that style sheet using styles dot unselect text, right? And you will see this one. Now in order to change this on click active color, right, we have to define some condition here. So the condition is I will put index here, okay, which is nothing but 0 1 2 3 kind of thing. But you can, it's up to you how you want to write the conditions, right? In this case, what I will do, I will write item dot id. The items id is equal to active, right? It's same. If the current id and active id is same, then I will apply this style, another style sheet. Otherwise, apply this unselect style sheet. So I will create another style sheet here. We can call select text, and we can change color to primary, right? So when my item is active, I will apply styles dot select text. Otherwise, I will apply the unselect text, right, and save it. Now if I save it, right, by default our item is 1, right, and it's matching the first element. That's the reason the latest is by default color, right, and it's showing as a selected. You can change the font as well. For example, you can increase the font size, okay. Let me decrease the font size of this one like 800 and make it 900, okay, kind of thing. And now if you see, it can't change because you have to provide a on press function. So in the touchable opacity, you can press on press on the press of this one, right? You can call the function, okay, and I will write on category click function, okay, and make sure you will define this function and pass the argument, right? So in this case, I will pass the item id, item dot id, and define this on category click function. So in order to define, we write constant, define this function, and inside function, make sure that id you are passing, you have to define here as well, right? That's a parameter. And in order to apply this id to the active, right, you have to apply using the set active and just type id. So if you see active set active, and in order to set the value of this active, you have to do with the help of set active. That's the reason I applied this one and save it. Now if I go click on this one, it's changing, correct? Perfect, this is what we want. Perfect. So you are able to um, add this business list listing slider as well, the category listing slider, okay. Next, we have to use the API, right, in order to fetch the news. So just go to the news, just type news API on the Google, and you will see this news API.org site, right, which provide you the one of the best API, news API, and which is completely free. If you go to the pricing, right, and it's free for 100 requests per day, which is if you are sufficient for your learning purpose, okay. And if you want to start business or you want more than 100 requests, so you can go with this, depends on your size, you can go with your plan. But for now we will use this plan, right? So just create account, new account, okay, if you don't have already. So I already have account, so I will log in with the existing account. And once you log in, right, you will see this API, correct? So don't use mine. And so you will see how much usage had happened and everything, right? Now go back to home and see the documentation of this one, right? So on the left hand side, uh, if you want to search the news article, right, this is the API endpoint that you can use it. So for example, if you want the top headline, right, and when you search the top headline, this is the API endpoint. So for example, let me copy it and open it in the browser. So you'll this all this JSON, this is JSON actually, and you will see this JSON now, correct? So these are the all top headlines. So you can search by the source, by CNN or some news headline, ask the kind of thing, right? But for this with our screenshot, so okay, so for this one, right, we will use a top headline from the US. Okay, so let's copy this, and that's what we are using. So in order to use the API, right, we want to use the HTTP function to fetch the record, right? So in React Native, there are a lot with the help of .fetch.axios, right? We can use, or we can fetch the result from the API. In this example, there is a beautiful API library called API source. Okay, and if you go here, this is how you can install this, and this is very easy and convenient to use and very fast, right? And if you see, uh, it it built on the base on the Axios HTTP client library. So what you have to do, first you have to install this. So this is the command line. So go and paste in the terminal, open a new terminal and paste it here. And once it installed, right, we will in meantime, right, we will create one more folder in the app, and we can call it as a services, and inside that we'll create one folder called global API.js, where we can store all APIs. Okay, so here let's go back to our this GitHub page, and there how you can use it, right? So let's copy this one in order to at very first time how to create the API, right? And make sure you import this create statement from the API source. Okay, right now I don't want header, so I will remove it, and instead of this base URL you can put your own base URL. So in our case we want this news API URL, right? So copy this URL and paste it here. Okay, but we want only base URL, so we can keep it up to this point. Okay, and let me keep this here for now. Okay, so this is our base URL. Now in order to call the API, right, so this is the method in order to call it, right? So it's very simple. I will write it for you actually. So we have to write for a simple constant get top headline. You can give any variable name, and here you have to call API dot get request, because we are fetching the record, right? And you have to define this what is the endpoint, right? So top headline, and we have to pass this country and the API key, but this is constant every time, right? So I will define it here as a constant. So API key, for example, is equal to, I will keep like this. Okay, so you can put this API key in an environment variable in order to for security purpose. Okay, and here you can define this API key. So this include this all statement is nothing but this one, for example, right, to get the record. And now you have to export this get top headline so that user other we can access this a particular, you can call this endpoint, right, from any other file. So I will export, say default, and inside that you can call get top headline. That's it, and done. So this is quite easy, very simple, and within few line of code you can able to define the API from, this is the client side API call, right? Now go back our components, right, and we have this top headline slider component, right? Just add the default template, let add the view, save it, and in the screen make sure you will import this, right? So what I will do first, here I will top headline slider, right? And here you can define this top headline slider, right? This is the comment I gave, right? Just for our easiness to understand. Category list, right? And just do the control slash and it will give like this, right? And make sure it's imported, okay, and save it. So it gave the error like it could not find within the project some React to types, because if you go here, right, I imported view from the incorrect package. So make sure you import from the correct package, and boom, right? So just type something, make sure it's coming on the screen. Top headline and save it, and you see top headline is coming. Perfect. Now we have inbuilt hook called use effect, right? So define that use effect. I will tell how it works, okay, and why we are using it, okay? So once you define this inbuilt use effect, right, it helps us. This use effect will call every time when this component is loaded, right? And it will load continuously if you define like this. But in order to load only once, right, you have to define the square bracket. So it will only execute once this component is get loaded, right? Or you want to load this use effect at certain point. For example, some update happens, right, on the particular variable changed, and you want to load this, you can define that variable name here, right? Variable name. And whenever this variable name change, this use effect will execute. I want to execute only once, so I will do like this, right? And define one another function or method uh, to get top headline, right, from the API. So I will define like this, and this will be our async function because we are calling API, right? So inside that I will write result, constant result is equal to, and we have to call that global API, and dot our get top headline, right? And dot we have want data. So define like this. So automatically we'll add await in front of this one, okay? And what I will do, I will console this result, so make sure this result is coming, okay? And this get top headline, let me change this spelling, yeah, headline in the use effect, because when a component load we want to execute this method, right? We want to get this result from the API. So I will call like this and save it. As you know, once you save it, right, it's saying none of the file exists, right? This global API file is not able to find it. So what I have to do, just stop the server and run it again. So recently Expo updated a lot of things, okay? That's the reason sometimes it happen, sometimes not. Now if you see in the console, right, we got a lot of data. You see, it's a lot of data, right? It means we are able to get this result, right? Now we want to store that result in some variable, right? So in order to do that, do the constant, and we will use the use state. So we say news list, for example, and then say new list, okay? And inside that you choose state, and by default I will put it as a empty, right? And let's go back to our API, and if you see, right, our articles means all the news in the articles array, right? So in set news list, right, you have to get only articles because we only care about the news, right? The list of object of the news. So I will write result, and then copy these articles and articles, right, and remove this console, save it, right? So what happens, all this news, right, if you see all this news are stored in this news list. Okay, because with the help of set news list, now we want to show on the screen, right? If you remember, we use the flat list for this one because we want to show horizontally and it's scrollable, right? Same thing we have to define for this horizontal top heading line slider. So remove this one and define the flat list first. And inside this flat list, you can define the data, which data we want to use. So in this case, the news list, we want to render items, right? So, item I will say, okay, kind of things, and you have to define like this. Inside that, it should be touchable, right? Again, this item should be touchable. When you click, you can read the full news, right? So I will write touchable opacity, and inside that you can define or add your all the things. Now if you see, we want image, the big size image, and then the title of this particular news, and this source. So we want image, so define image. So this is the image tag, right? We want to use in the React Native. Close this tag, and we have to provide the source. In this case we have URL, right? So we have to define double curly braces URI, right, colon, and then item. If you want to access the particular item, right? So make sure what is the image URL. So this is the URL to image, where you define the URL for the image, right? So define item.url image. Perfect, right? Now we want to give the style, because without style I don't think so it will show it, right? So define the style. So in this case we will show the height. We want to show height to be like maybe 400, okay, and save it. So if you see, it's coming, right? The height is too much for I think, so I will define 350. Okay, it's refreshing, it's taking time, but it's now coming, right? And yeah, that's okay, right? But the width is full screen right now, right? We want to limit some width, and that's the reason I will, in the touchable opacity we can use style, right? And in order to access the screen width and height, right? So for example, let's mention width first, and let me get it down. Okay, so just put dimension, import this dimension from the React Native package, then you will say get dimension of what you have to get from the screen or window. I will say screen, and what you want, height or width. So in this case I want width, right? And it will take the width of the screen, right? But I want some the 90% of this width, right? So I'll put like 0. In this guy is 0.88 and save it. I will put 80, okay, and save it like this. Okay. And we want it horizontal. So what you have to do, just mark it as a horizontal and save it, right? And you'll see that next is coming here, correct? So what I'll do, I will put it 80 only, because we have to give margin and everything. And if you see, you can able to see the next image as well a little bit, and that's what we want to show. That's how we want to show, right? So if you go to with 80, that is fine for now, okay? And for this image, we want to also give the the radius, the border radius, and which is like 10. And here you can give margin from the right as a 10 and save it. You can give more for right. Perfect. So this is what we want, okay? And for this view, give some margin from the top. So for at the parent level, I will give margin top to be like 10. Okay, let's see how it looks here. 10, maybe 15. Okay, okay, yeah, that is okay. And I will decrease the little height here, okay? So what you can do, you can use this same method here instead of 350, right? And just change the 080 to something like 77, and boom, perfect. Okay, so you can use this, reuse this. Okay, I use the width and in order to maintain this application, right? If you the screen size is bigger, larger, depends on that. It will take the dimension of the screen and the dimension of the width, and then it will apply the particular width and height accordingly. Okay, perfect. Now let's add the text. So here I will define the text. Okay, and text contain what we want. If you go to in a API response, we want the title. Okay, so item dot title and save it. You see this title, and another one what we want is the source. So if you see the source, right, it is in the source, and then we have to access the source dot name. So I will use source dot name. If sometimes it happen the source will not available, so in this case we will mark as a question mark, so it's optional. And if sometimes if source is not there, it will not throw error because you might share as an option. Okay, so I will keep like this. And if you see this rolling stone associated press, that is our source. Now let's give some style to this one. So first I will give margin top to 10, then I will increase the font size to 20, then I will make it bold. So I want font family to be not family, the font weight to be bold, and let's see how it looks. And this look perfect. And, and let's define for this one as well. So for our source, do margin top to 10 again, maybe 5, I don't want 10, it's too much. And then you can give color, and in this case we want to give the colors of the our primary color of the application. And that's the reason, right, you don't define the code, and that's the reason we use the color. For the color we define separate file name, and you see it's coming perfectly fine. Yeah, I know you see this particular horizontal scroll, right? So just remove it. You know how to remove it, right? So go here, say show horizontal scroll indicator as a false. Perfect. And save it and see, it's not showing anymore, right? Perfect. You able to crack the code, right? Now one more thing you face here, right? Somewhere is showing 4, somewhere is showing 3, and the layout get changed. Yes. So in order to avoid that, in this text, right, you can define the number, how many lines you want to show, right? Not in style. So in the text will give you one inbuilt property called number of lines. So I want to show only 3 lines maximum. And if you save it, right, so those news title has more than 3 lines, it will show with the dot dot dot, right? It looks perfectly awesome, correct? So that's what uh, all about this particular slider, right? And let's see this matching, right? If you see this font is little bigger, you can make it font little bigger as well. So let's make it 900, and the font size as well, you can make it like 24 or 23. Okay, I think this is okay for me. Yeah, that's look good. Okay. Now I think we are pretty much done, and obviously we use this touchable opacity, and that's the reason if you see this click event, right, is perfectly giving some animation on our click. Okay, now next we will design this list for this news. Now if you see our screenshot, we want to design this list for the news, right? So on the left hand side we have image, and on the right hand side we have the news source and the title. So let's go to our project, and we have this headline list. Okay, component. So just add the template, add the view, and let's add text to make sure it's working. So headline list. Okay, now go to your home.js file, and here we will add the headline list. Okay, so this is our emulator, and if you save it, right, you will see this headline list is coming up. Okay, so let me close all this tab and open only this headline list. Okay, so a couple of things, right? What we have to do, once this home page is loaded, we want to load the uh, data. It means we have to call the API, and then we have to pass it to the every component which we want to send it. Correct? So if you go to the home.js, right, we are just showing the information, and in top headline we are sending data. So I will remove all this API call from this top headline slider, and I will keep it in home.js. Okay, make sure you will import all of these packages. So use effect, then what we have on this global API. Okay, that's all. And if you see, it's similar, just we are calling, instead of top headline slider, we will call this API from the home page. And now in top headline slider, we want to pass this data. Okay, so in order to pass it, we have to pass with some variable, for example headline list. Okay, and then or I can say news list. Okay, and inside that, what data do you want to pass? So in this case is news list, right? So news list, so whatever the variable name you want to give, that one, and this, what data do you want to pass? Okay, now you have to go to the top headline slider, and inside this we will call it as a props. Okay, so we are getting data from the home to this component, right? So we have to mention the props, and in this case I will mention like headline, or I can mean like news list only. Okay, so you don't need to change anything here, and I will keep as it is, the name whatever it is, right? And I pass as a news list, and if I save it, you will soon no change, because we just passing data, everything is similar, right? Instead of calling the API from this top headline list slider, we are calling from the home.js. Okay, now next we want to pass this news list on this headline list, right? Obviously for headline list we will call different API, but for the testing purpose we will pass this same information. Okay, headline list. Now next we have to add this props here. So head news list, right? News list, make sure mostly we have to use the same name in this props, so it will be consistent. Okay, now we have the list of all the news. Now we have to iterate it, so we'll use the flat list. So inside the flat list I will add the data, what data we want to pass. So in this case is the news list, and then we have to render the item. Okay, so item, okay. And inside that we will add the touchable opacity, because it's a clickable opacity. Okay, and now we have to define image on the left hand side. So I will put image, and let me close the tag, and we will add the source. Okay, so in this case item.url to image. Okay, and save it. So we'll see no information because we want to give height and width. So here inside style, give width of maybe 100 and height to be 100. We will adjust it later if needed. So if you see, we are not getting any data, correct? So let's see whether in console we are getting any error or not. So if you see, it's saying some fail prop, invalid prop. Okay, so if you go back here, right, we have to add this URI tag, right, and also double curly braces to this source, and then save it, and then you will see this all the list, correct? So let's increase the size to 130 and 130 for example, and this is much better, I will say. Okay, yeah. So now let's round this corner and give not margin but give okay, let's round this corner first, and from the margin bottom, so on the touchable opacity we give style, and here we can give margin maybe bottom, let's say top 10. Okay, yeah. This is perfect. Okay, if you see, yeah, this is perfect. Okay, now we want to name and source name, title and source name. So I will put one view here. So you can put empty things as well, like this. Okay, it doesn't matter. And inside that we will add the title, right? So inside text, oops, item dot title, okay? And another one we want item dot source dot name. Okay, so if source is not there, we will put it optional. And now we want to all this information data in one row with the image. So in touchable opacity style, we want to show it as a one horizontal line, so make it as a flex, and then make flex direction as a row, and if you see, it's coming. Okay, so if you see, our text is going on the right hand side, right? So what I will do, I will put some margin, or you can put the width, but here in style I will put some margin. So margin, so it's better to give it because we are giving style. So, view, okay, and view here, margin right 130, I will give 135. If you see, all text in one line now. And also I will give some margin from the left, like 10, and we will do 130. Okay, yeah. Now we want to give a style to this text. So style, will increase the font size first. So I will make it 80, and let make the font weight to be bold. Okay, yeah, this is look perfect. Now we have to limit the number of lines, so in this case I will limit to 4 maybe. Yeah, so inside this we will limit the number of lines to be 4 only. Okay. Yeah, you see, our number of lines is 4 now. Okay. Also in this one, right, we want to give style, so style, and I will keep this text as it is, just I will change the color to primary. So colors, color dot primary, and also I will give some margin from the top, so 6 maybe, and let's see how it looks. Yeah, and this is look much better. But if you see, right, it's only scrolling this part and not on the whole page, right? So in order to do it right, so let's go to home.js, and here you have to apply scrollable view and import the package. If you see, it's importing from the React Native, and end this tag from the scrollable view, and now save it. And now if you see, we are getting right all this page is scrolling now. Okay. One more thing, if you observe here, we have this horizontal line, correct? So like HTML or CSS, we don't have HR tag, so we have to add this line. So let's go to top headline slider, in the headline list, and outside of this touchable view, maybe yeah, touchable view opacity. Let's add here only. Let's add view. Okay, and for view we only use style. Okay, so I will give a height of 1, and I will give colors dot light gray. Sorry, color dot light gray. Okay. And we will see not color, but we will see the background color. Okay, and let me check why it's not showing. Maybe let's increase the height. Let me add this is need to be here. So let's wrap this touchable view inside view. So make sure you're wrapping correctly. So this is okay. Let me check what's the issue here. Right, so already we wrap this view, and let's put this line of code, the horizontal. So I will style height of 1 and background color as a color dot so we want to remove this one, just add this color, so color dot gray, and usually line is coming, so we want light gray, so add the light gray. And yeah, and now let's give margin from the top. And this is perfectly fine. If you want to give margin from the left and right, you can give it, so it will be touched to the screen as well. So if you see margin left will become -20. So actually we don't want it. If you see, this is okay, and everything is working perfectly fine. So we want the line here as well. So what we could do, we can just cut this one and we'll paste above this touchable opacity, so line will become at the top. Let's see, perfect. Okay, and here we have this page, correct? And now if you see, it's clickable. Okay, so if you understand how it need to be done, right? Perfectly fine. So let's move on to the next section, which is the routing. How can we navigate from one page to another? So if I click on this page, we have to navigate to another. So let's see that. Now, the reason we use the touchable opacity is to, whenever user want to click it, right, we can add this click event, correct? So for example, on the click, we can add the on press event. So go to the top headline slider, and inside this touchable opacity, right, we'll add on press, and inside the on press, just console it. Okay, click. Yeah. Okay, and that's all. So I just calling the console, and the click will print in the console. So open the console, And if I click this, if you see, right, the click is coming. Perfect. So our on-place event is working. Now we have to add the navigation, correct? So let's go and search for the React Native navigation, right? We'll see this site reactnavigation.org, right, which is the one of the official and base library in order to add the navigation and routing. So go to the docs. Here you will see how can you install using this command, right? So copy this command and go back to the application and run this command. Okay, so it will install the React Native routing or navigation, sorry. Again, go back here. Okay, and we don't want to install any other things because our project is the Expo one, and this is totally support to the Expo. Okay, now there are a lot of different types of navigation. We can call it stack navigation or tab navigation, okay, drawer navigation kind of things. So in this particular tutorial, we will use the stack navigation. Okay, so search for the tag navigation, stack. This is stack navigator, right? And if you go to stack navigator, this is how it works. So if you click it, the new page will come on top of this existing page. So we have to install this stack navigation as well. So and paste it here, and if you see, it will install it. Okay, now go back again and make sure you will install this gesture handler, okay, to stack navigator. If you see, right, if you have Expo managed project in your project, then you have to run this command, otherwise this command, right? So I will install this one. That's all. Okay, so our React navigation, all the file or packages or library is installed. Now the point is how to use it, right? So go to the files and inside this app folder, right, create another folder called navigations. Okay, so we'll keep all our navigation here. So inside that, what we have to do, from the home page we have to navigate to somewhere, right? So we can write home navigator, okay, .js. Okay, and inside that, define the constant first, and we have to define stack, okay, is equal to create stack navigator. Simple. Okay, and also define this for template, default template. So I'll keep this here. Okay, and in this home navigator, right, we have this div, remove this one, and I will put view, or we can put a stack, then dot navigator. Okay, and inside that navigator, right, because this is stack navigator, we have to define like this, and we have stack, and then we have to define screen, how many screen we want to show it. Correct? So oops, yeah. Okay, and if you don't know the coding and all of this is, right, in the documentation it's clearly mentioned everything, right? So you can use in the similar way. You can use like this, or you can end the tag in React like this as well, right? And then name this screen, what the screen is. So in this case, I will name home and attach the component for this particular screen. So in this case, I will attach as a home. Okay, and that's all, right? Let me get this here. Make sure the home component is imported successfully. I don't think so it's imported. Home. Okay, yeah, perfect. So it's a H capital, that's it, this is its home. Okay, now go back to app.js, right, and here we define the shape area view, everything, correct? So inside that, define the navigation container, navigator container. Okay, or navigation container. Okay, and inside that you have to define this navigation which we created, that is home navigator. Okay, and just comment out this home, and save it. So it will giving error that React navigation not found because we install new library, right? So we have to refresh the project. So let's stop the project. And now if you see, right, I just reload the applications, and you see screen like this, right? The background is little grayish and some padding, okay? And you'll see this tab as well, home tab, right? So go to the home navigator again, and inside the stack navigator, right, we have the lot of different options, right? So we have one property called screen options, and inside screen option you can type header shown, right? We have the header shown. Let me get this down, and you have to make it as a false, okay? And save it, and you'll see this particular header is not showing, and this is applicable for the all the screen. You can define this property for each individual screen as well, so it's up to you. Now we will define one more screen, but we have to create that screen first. So go to the screen and add new file called read news.js, okay? We call like this. Inside that we will add the template. We remove this one and we'll add the view, okay? And inside view I will add some text in order to test it. Read news, import this, perfect. And inside home navigator now add this screen stack dot screen, and the name of the screen is read news, and the component which we want to attach is read news component. If you see, it's here, right? And it's imported as well. And now save it. It doesn't affect anything because we just add the screen, but because we are not navigate yet, okay? So this is the just for the routing purpose, okay? This is the home page, this is the read news. Another important things here, right? So whatever the first screen which you define in the stack navigator, it then stack navigator consider this as a default first screen for this navigator, okay? If I want this read news as a first one, you can just go here, paste here and save it. You will see that screen as a first one, okay? It's up to what you want to show. So here, right, or in the stack navigator you have option called initial routing name, and you can define the name, for example home in this case, like this, okay? So let's go to app.js and see everything is okay. Home navigator is okay, read news, okay? Now we see this background, right? So for now what I will do, let's go to the home.js, and in home.js in a display, right, we already have the style for this view. I will just add the background color and I will do the white. So you can do FFF code for the white and see it's working. So it's not working somehow. Let me check the issue. Also view is applicable only for this one, right? So we have to apply for the whole screen. So in scroll view I applied this background color, so it's my mistake, okay? If you see, you can add this code in a color in our shared folder and color.js file. So I will add it here as a white and define hash FFFF, okay? Save this one and just call this color here, so color dot white, boom, okay? And you can able to see everything, okay? Now let's go to our headline.js, right? So in component we have this headline list, sorry, the top headline slider, right? And we have this on press event, correct? So now what we have to do, we have to go to the next page. Close this one. So here first you have to define one constant called navigator or navigation, in whatever name you want to give, and you have to use inbuilt hook called use navigations. okay, which is imported from the React navigation slash native. Okay, so what it will do, we have some properties which is used to navigate. Okay, so let's go to this on press event, and inside the on press event, instead of remove this console, and what I will do, I will write navigation dot navigate. Okay, because we define this constant and we have this property called navigate, and we want to navigate. So in this case, I will say read news and save it. So read news is nothing but the name which we gave for this screen, correct? So that's the reason I kept read news. And if I click it, it's going to the read news. Perfect. Go back, go to some other because we apply only this on press to this slider, click it, is going to the new screen. Perfect. Now also we want to pass this the selected news, right? When you click on the news, we want to pass this information to the next screen, right? So here you have to pass the information, right? So in curly braces you have to pass news, right? So whatever the variable name which we want to give and the value. So in this case is an item, right? Because we want to only pass a single object. So item, that's it. Okay. Go to the if you go to the read news, right? Inside read news we can define the particular page. So you can define the code here, because if you see we have this image, the top navigation bar, and this information as well. So it's not too much, right? It's not making sense to divide this component. So I will define everything in the read news only. Okay. And inside read news, accept that props. Oh, sorry. So here is we are navigating, right? So we are not passing value from one component to another, but on the navigation we are passing, right? So here we have to define one constant. You can call it as a news, and here you have to use route. So whatever the this route hooks help us from where you jump, or from which page you jump, and what are the parameters passing and everything. And inside that we have called params. So params is nothing but which parameter is passed, and inside that we have one parameter called news. Okay, so inside news we have all this information. So if you want to check, you can just use effect, console it, you will see this news item. So right now here you see I will define first this screen. We'll add this later on, but first we'll this add image, this title, and this all the description. So first image, and inside the image we have source, and inside source we have URI and news. So we have to access from news dot URL to image. Okay, and so he's saying cannot read property news of undefined. Okay, so this is news, and it is undefined because it's a constant we are getting. We have to add it in the um, use effect. Okay, so 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 in use effect, make sure you are getting this value first. So I will define the use effect here, and we want to run that only once. So that's the reason I added that empty array, and console this news and save it. Okay, so if I click this one and make sure you are getting this value, and if you see we are getting this value, right? So right now it's showing empty, but here because we did not define any width or height for this image, so define a height and width for this one. So width I will give 100%, and I will define height as well. Height, for example, 300 for now. And if you see, I'm able to see this one, correct? Also, we'll set the background to be white, background color, and inside that we have the color dot white. Okay. Let's see how it's not showing. So we want flex one, and now it's showing because flex one is vertical. It's covered all the screen. Okay. Let's go back, select another image because the background is white. Okay, so we select at this image, and this size is, I think, pretty much good. Okay, now round the corner, border radius to be 20, maybe 15. Okay, and now we want to add the title. So text, inside text we have nudes dot title, and before that we have source. Okay, we add the source as well. So before this title we have source. So news source dot name. We have the source name and we have this title, right? And then we have the description, so add that as well. So let's see what is the endpoint, field name for this description. So we have this title and we have this description, so we'll add that one. You see all the description is here. Now let's start applying the style. So here we'll add the style. First we'll give margin from the top to 10, then we'll change the color to primary, color dot primary, and we'll increase the font size little bit to 16 and save it. And this is look good. Now apply the style for this title. Style, we give margin from the top first to 10, then we'll increase the font size to 22 maybe, and we will add the font weight to be bold and save it. And this is good. And for the description we'll add style, the margin top again at 10, and then we will add the font size to be 18 and save it. So if you see, right, the font size is not, we can decrease a little bit size, and we'll add the color. So in this case I will add the color to be color dot gray, not, and this is okay, at 18 only. But if you see, right, here there's a much gap between this one, right, and some less gap. So there's another style property called line height. Okay, and here you can define, for example, define 100. Oops, sorry, 100. See line height like this, right? So decrease the size, and this is, I think, okay. Okay, and let's see how it looks. So we have this title, then this source name. So actually we want to put this below this news heading. Yeah, like this. Perfect. And one more thing we have is a read more. So once we click on this read more, it will open the URL or source URL for this news, and you can read the full news from there. So another text which is similar to this one, and I will just type like read more. Okay, and I will make it bold little bit, so font weight to be bold. Perfect. So if you see, everything is set up. Now only thing remaining is giving the back button and this our the share arrow, because we may add the feature to share this news on WhatsApp or any other media, okay, or any other app. So let's do that now. Now here above this we want to add the back button and the share button. Okay, so let's add a view. Let's go to our icon. So let's type icon.expo fy, and we want a back button, right? Back. So we have a couple of options to go back button. I will use this arrow back. Copy this import statement, paste it here, then go back here again and copy this component, and if I save it, you will see this back button, right? So let's give some margin from the top, margin from the top to 10, margin from bottom to 10, and also we want the share button. So let's go back here, let's add the share. Okay. So we have few options for sharing. I will use this share, or not this one, I will use this one. Paste it here. Oh sorry, we have to paste this import statement over here. Oh, we already have iron icon, so no need to import it again. And then we have to import this iron icon component, so this one, and save it. And if you see, it's showing it here. Now we want in one row, so display, make it display as a flex, and then make it flex direction as a flex direction as a row. Okay, now it will come in one line. I will increase the size of this one to 30, maybe. Look how it looks, maybe 28, and the 28, okay. And specify the space between that one, justify content and space between, and save it. You see it's showing like here, right? Now one more thing, that this item is need to be a clickable, so obviously you have to wrap this icon inside touchable opacity, or you can use the button as well, it's up to you. So I will use the touchable opacity and icon, and the same touchable opacity, and put this icon. Okay, so it will be clickable. Now once you click on this back button, it should be we need to go back to the previous page. So I will add the on press event on this one, and define this use navigation, because we have to navigate back, right? So constant navigation is equal to use navigation, right? And we have one property, previously used the navigation.navigate property. Now in this case we have to use go back property, okay? And it will go back. If I save it and click on it, it will go back, okay? So same, if I open this one, click on go back, it will go back. Okay, perfect, it's working perfectly fine. Now share method, right? We have to do for sharing, right? So here we will add the on press event, and inside on press event I will call one function called share news. So we will define this method over here, right? Constant share news equal to, so I define this method, right? And I did not pass any element because we already have event news, right, which contains all this information which we want to share. Now Expo has inbuilt share functionality, so just type info sharing maybe, okay. And if you go to the documentation of the info sharing, this is how it will give the option for sharing, right? And it's this compatible to all the platforms, so no worry. Just make sure you will you will install this Expo sharing using this command line. Copy this command line, paste it here, okay. You might need to restart, but let's see. And once it's installed, right, so inside the share you can have share method, you see, and dot again share, okay. And inside this share, right, this is how you can write it. You have to define the message which you want to share. So in this case I will write the title of the news, so I will write news dot title plus I will write the click here method, okay, means read more, something like read more. And then I will also define like this, so it's a complete text, and the news dot description, okay, and save it. Don't put the semicolon, and save it. Once you save it, right, and we already calling this share news. Let's see on click of this one, right. Numerator takes some time. You will see this option to share, and with this beautiful news heading and the link as well. Okay, so if I go to the messaging, right, and let's, I don't know, we don't have anything here emulator, but our share is working now. Now go back, open another news, and you will see this particular news with beautiful design and styling, everything. Now last thing remaining is on the click of read more. So on read more, we want to open inbuilt browser which will open the URL. Okay, so wrap this text. So I will write touchable opacity. Okay, so another thing, right, instead of, you don't want to use touchable opacity, right, you can use the button as well. Okay, and define button here, and for button you have to define this text in this way, title, and inside that you can define the button. And if you save it, it doesn't change anything, right, if you see. Okay, so we have this read more button directly actually. Okay, it's coming as a button, but it's up to you whether do you want to show it or not. Let me remove this, let's see how it looks. It doesn't affect anything, that's fine. But if you want button, you can put button. If you not, I will or either pay for that particular uh, text only, and I will wrap it in the touchable opacity. Okay, so touchable opacity. Okay, and then I will add the on press event here. Okay, let me put the console for now. Okay, so in order to open browser, right, Expo has Expo linking, and if you go to linking, right, you will see this different type of linking, how to open URL and everything, right. So in this case, we want to open the URL in a browser, correct. So there is another method called, okay, so if you come to down, right, we have this called in-app browser. So copy this and install this particular dependency or library, and then this is how you can do it. So you can import this web browser, right, once it's installed, and just you have to call web browser dot open browsers async, right. So it will open in browser. If you want to open in some system browser like Chrome, so then you have to use linking dot open URL. So in this case we want to open in our app only. So first I will import this statement. Okay, and then I will just copy this line of code and I will paste it here for the read more on press event, right. So here we have on press event. Instead of console, I'll put this line of code, and instead of this URL, right, I will put our new URL. So news dot, let's go back here, see the URL. So we just have URL, right. So just type URL and save it. Okay. Now if you click on it, I don't know why it's not working. So on browser web on press, let's see if we are getting any error or not. So it's saying the web browser is not defined, so we have to restart it again, right. So our application is get loaded, and now let's open, for example, this news, and here we have read more. So if I click read more, right, it opened the web browser. So right now I'm on emulator, so it's looking too bad, but on your system it looks perfectly fine. So we completely design and complete this particular page. Now another thing, right, we have to, on the place of image we are navigating, right, same thing we have to do for this news as well. So go back your headline list, right, define the same code which you defined. So I will just copy paste for now. So I will use this navigation, put it in headline list, import the use navigation, and also we have this on press event, right. So I'll copy this on press and put it here. So we have this one, right. press is touchable. Obviously I press this, read navigation, right, and we have this news item, everything's good. So if I click this one, right, still not working, it's showing some error. Let's try it again, and it's working now. So first time I don't know what's the issue, but if I open this one, right, I'm getting this news. But yes, it's not scrollable here. So you remember, right, it's correct, you have to add the scroll view. So go to the read news, and here at the top, instead of this view, you can add the scroll view. So whole page is scrollable now. Save it, and it's scrollable. You can remove this vertical bar if you don't want it, but yeah, so perfect. Here, if you go to this news API, right, so we have this API called everything, and we have to just pass the query, right. So if I pass the query as a business or as a latest, you will get the result. So in our global API, I add this another endpoint called get by category, and I'm passing this category in this way. Okay, and then I'm calling this get API for this endpoint everything, and we are passing the query as a category. Okay, so this category, whatever we pass, we will pass it here. So in a home.js, okay, I just commented this get top headline method call, and I'm created another method called get news by category, and here I'm passing the by default as the latest one. Okay, now on the click, we have to call this method, right? But this method is defined that this particular code, right? It is in the category text slider, correct? So what we have to do on press of this event, right, so this is on press, correct, and on category click, we are calling this item.id. So here, right, we have setting the whether it's active or not, right. Same, we have to send some value to this one, correct. So that's what we are doing now. So now what we have to do, we have to pass on press event, and we have to send value from this child component to our parent component, correct. So here what we have to do, wrap this because inside this we will call two methods, okay, at a time. So first is on category click, and second we will call select category, okay, and inside that we will pass the item dot name of the category, okay, and then you have to pass this function call, right. Oh, sorry, we have to pass this function call in these props, okay. And in the home.js, if you go here, right, in the category text slider, here you have to call it. So what it will do, React automatically take whether you are passing from child to parent or parent to child, right. And here you can call get news category, right. So let go get news category, and we have here selected category, right. So I will like just category for now, and you can just pass this category here. Okay, perfect. And if I save it, right, it's refreshing. So by default it's calling the latest, and if I change, for example, now I change to business, right, it will take some time because it's loading the data, right, and then it's showing, you see, it's changed. If you want sport, it will change to sport now, okay. But the another thing that it's taking time, right, and obviously you don't like it, so we have to show it loading, whether it's loading or not, correct. So to do that, we define one constant called loading, okay, and I will say loading is equal to use state. Initially we set it as a true, okay, so loading value is true initially, and here we'll set loading as a true, and after this we'll set loading as a false. We'll remove this console, okay. Now what loading will do, uh, inside the scroll view, right, we will define if it's a loading, right, then we will show the loader, okay. So we have inbuilt function called activity indicator. Okay, and otherwise we will show the result. So inside this view, let me wrap this up actually here. Okay, and we want to wrap everything together. View, oops, we already have this one. Okay, yeah, so we wrap this one, and if it's loading we will show and activity indicator. So activity indicator also have some method called how much size. So I will put it large, and the color of the activity indicator. So if you see the color, right, so you can define the color as well. So I will put the color or primary color and save it. Okay, now we see this activity indicator showing. If I click world, right, it's a activity indicator. If I select the business, it will show the activity indicator, correct? But if you see that's this particular space also is going, and we want to keep it as it is, right? So just replace this activity indicator from here along with, I will say, along with this one to the slider. Okay, and let's see how it looks. So it will refresh it. Okay, if I change to, let's see, perfect. If I change to world, it will change to world. Okay. So right now in emulator it's little slow, but when you actually run on the what to say your device, it will be very fast. You can give margin or padding to this activity indicator as well. So let's give some margin padding. So I will get style, and I will give margin top. Okay, so what I will do, I will give margin top to dimension of the screen, whatever the height is. So dimension of the screen and dot height, so into 0.45, for example, half. Okay, so if I refresh it, let's see, it's showing like here, right? So we'll decrease the size a little bit. If you see, right, it's showing perfectly at the place where I want to see. Perfect, and now everything is working fine. So now once we complete development of the application, the time is to deploy the application, right? So I will teach you how to deploy on Play Store and the App Store in my another video, but you can still share this app with your friends and family. Okay, so just you have to do, you can send the link with email. That's also one of the reason, one of the way. Okay, and you can publish this app on Expo. So what I will do, just click on publish app. I will change to Apple News App 2.0. You can put the GitHub source URL if you want, or description. Okay, I will keep it blank for now, and just say publish project. So it will take some few seconds.
A few minutes later.
So if you see, our application is published, and this is the URL that you can access the application. I will open this URL, and you will see. Okay, so right now you will see the application name. We did not add the logo, but you can add the logo. And here you will see this QR code, or you can have this URL as well that you can share it. Okay, and just the thing you have to with the help of Expo Go app, you have to scan, and anyone can then use this application. Okay, and there are some other method to publish it or something like that, but it's up to you. So guys, that's all for this video. I hope you enjoy this video and you learn a lot of different concepts of the React Native. And yeah, you can go and try it, and definitely if you did not subscribe to my channel, subscribe to my channel, press like button. And if you have any thought or any comments, or if you don't understand any of the topic, please comment in the comment section so I can tell you in the personal, or you can direct message me on the Instagram. So my Instagram ID is at TubeGuruji, and you can check it out or and follow me on the Instagram as well. So guys, see you in next video. Thank you. Hey everyone. So today we are going to develop this beautiful AI build chart application. So with the help of Bard API, Next.js, and the React Native, we are going to build this beautiful application. So let me walk through the application and then we'll get to know what technology we are using to build this application. So first of all, if you see on the screen, right, it's beautiful landing page, and we have some few options to select the different chart faces. If I select this one, the all the color scheme of this whole application is get changed, right, and you can select any of them very easily, right. So I will teach you how to do it. After that, anyone you selected, let's click on let's chart. Then you have this welcome message saying hello, I am Noi, how can I help you. So each chart face has a different name. If you go back again, if I select this Pogu, it's called Pogu. Let's click on it, and now it's saying hello, I'm Pogu, how can I help you. So we will learn how to navigate from one screen to other screen as well. So we'll learn navigations in the React Native. After that, you can enter any message. Just if you say hi and send it, it will reply, hey there, how can I help you today, right. And it completely giving the response from the Bard API, which is developed by Google. Now let's type something else. So if I type what is capital of North Carolina, okay, and if I send it, you will see this beautiful animation effect of loading, okay. So we will learn how to implement that one completely from the scratch, okay. And if you see, the Bard API written this beautiful response for us. Let me remove this keyboard, and if you see the whole response with all the details, right. As I say, it's completely written by the AI program, okay. So this is a beautiful application we are developing in this particular tutorial. So watch this complete tutorial and let's see what technology we are going to use for this one. So in this particular tutorial, we are going to use the React Native Expo build tool. So this is the very powerful build tool and easy for any beginner developers. After that, in order to navigate from one screen to other screen, we are going to use this React navigation library. This is the best library and very easy to write the code and very easy to access, okay. After that, in order to use the AI API, we are going to use Google AI's Bard API. Currently, it's completely free. Okay, so you can just go to the official website and you can join it immediately. And after that, in order to write the REST API using the Bard, we are going to use Next.js to write the API. The reason that I'm choosing the Next.js is once you build the API, you can freely deploy it on yourself and it's completely free. So guys, watch this complete video, and if you did not subscribe to my channel, please do subscribe. And without doing any further delay, let's begin. So in this course, we are going to use Expo in order to create the React Native application. Expo is the one of the easiest build tool for the beginners who want to develop the React Native application for iOS and Android. If you go to the official website of expo.dev, you will find everything which you needed. So just click on get started. Here you will see how to create the Expo application using this command line. Okay, so let's go back to our folder. Open the command prompt by typing cmd, and once it open, just type npx create expo app. Remember, Expo is just a build tool. We are developing the React Native application only, and give the app name, application name. So in this case, I will say AI chart app, okay, and say yes to proceed, and it will take some time to create or install all the dependency and to create a project for us.
A few minutes later.
Now, once the application is ready, you will see all the dependencies installed. Okay. Now, go to the project folder first by typing cd and the project name. Okay, and open the VS Code by typing code space dot. VS Code we are using to write our all the code for our application. I will close this CMD and increase this size. Now, if you see on the left hand side, we have all the files and folders for our applications, and this is our starting point for our application, which is called app.js. In packet.json, we have all the dependency which we needed. Okay, the name of our application, the version, and so on. Okay, if you want to know more the details of each and every files and folders, you can watch my this particular course called build the React Native application and building the education application from it. Okay, so this is a very beginner friendly course and you should watch it. Now let's run the application first. So go to the terminal, click new terminal. Here you can type expo. Once you type expo start, right now my already port I'm using, so here I will say yes to open the new port. And if you see, it will open in browser with the port localhost 19003. Now here you will see some options, right? If you want to run your application on your mobile devices, okay, then you have to download the expo client go app on your Android or iOS device. Okay, once you download it and you are in the same network or Wi-Fi network, then you will see this particular connection. Okay, you will see this particular uh, option to select the app or run the application. Okay, before that you have to obviously log in to the expogo app, and same login you have to do it here as well. Okay, if you are running first time, it will ask you to log in with the username and password. Now in this case, I will use the Android device emulator to run the application. Okay, so I will click on run on Android device and emulator. Now if you see, right, this is my Android simulator. Here you will see the expogo app. Okay, click on expogo app and I refreshed it. Okay, so if you see, right, this is my 19001. This is my running application. Okay, this is the previous one which I developed, and if you see, the port number is 19001. Okay, if I click on this one, it will open the application for us. Okay, now if you see, the bottom side is doing bundling thing. So this is happen first time when you launch the application. Okay,
A few minutes later.
now if you see, right, our application is completed. The bundling thing is completed, and if you see, it's showing the open up app.js to start working on your app. Okay, this particular text is written in our app.js file. Okay, so if I go to the app.js, here you will see open up app.js, and that all the text, right? You can change the text, for example, subscribe to TubeGuruji. So if you did not subscribe to my channel, please do subscribe. And you see the text change, perfect. Okay, so this is how we can run the application on Android, any Android device or iOS device, or you can run it on your emulator as well directly. Okay, so now first of all, we will build this home screen. So if you see the screenshot, right, we have the text, right, and the name of this chatbot, then the image of this chatbot, and the simple hard coded text, and the list of these chatbots as well. Okay, and the last, we have the button. So we will also implement the React Native navigations. Okay, we will learn in this particular course as well. Okay, so let's go back to our VS Code and make sure your app is running. Here, I will create in the source folder, I will create a new folder called app. Okay, inside this app, I will create one folder called pages. Okay, or you can call screens. Okay, so in this case, we'll call pages. where we have all the main page, right? Like home screen, chatbot screen, kind of thing, right? So inside page, I will create one more one file called home screen .js. Okay, this is a home screen. This is nothing but what we are going to build this particular page. Okay, so if you did not watch my previous video, then please watch, because in that I gave some tricks. Okay, so in order to write the code, right, we want the default template, and with the help of React Native function, right, if I type RNF and click enter, you will get the default template. For this one, you have to install the VS Code extension called React, this ES7 plus React Redux React Native. Okay, so you have to install this plugin for the VS Code, and once you type React Native function or just shortcut, you will get this template. Okay, now you have basic template for the home screen. Okay, now go back to app.js file. Over here, remove this everything. Okay, and just import this home screen inside the app.js. Okay, and save everything. Now we'll see, you'll get the home screen. See, but then this is nothing but it's written here, right? Home screen page, you can, and if I save it, you'll see home screen page, right? So what we did, this home screen nothing but a component, we can say, and this component we will integrate it in app.js, because app.js is our initial point. Okay, where application will start to display on the screen. Okay, now right now if you see, right, it's coming in the middle, because for this particular view, we applied the style called style.container. Okay, and where it's, if you see it below of this one, right, you will see this styling they applied, right? So what I will do, I will remove this particular to style and save it. Now showing it center, it will show on the left side top corner. Okay, where we will start writing our code. Next, I will create a new folder, because we want some hard-coded data, right? So what I will do, inside the app folder, I will call services.js. Okay, oh sorry, not services.js. Let me rename it just a services, because it's a folder. Inside that one, I will create new file called chartface.data.js. Okay, and inside this one, right, I will put this particular JSON object. Okay, so and I exported this JSON object. The source code of all this project, I put the link, I put it in the description. Okay, so you can use this particular source code. So this is very simple. I put the name, so the ID, then name of the chatbot, the image of the chatbot, right, then the color of the primary and secondary. Right now I kept it empty because I don't want it. Okay, you can remove it if you want. So primary is nothing but it's color. Okay, to set, once you select any of the chatbot, it will set the color for you. Okay, so once we start developing, you will get understand it. Save it. Okay, so I save everything. We are pretty much ready to implement the home screen. Now go to the home screen. Here, first of all, if you see our mockup, right, we have simple word called hello, and then name of this chatbot, right? So to get the name of chatbot, first of all, we have to access this chat face data. Correct? So we will use the inbuilt hook called use effect. Okay, if you don't know about use effect, please watch my previous videos. Okay, how to use it. And in order to execute this use effect only once, okay, I pass the empty array. So use effect is used whenever your component is get loaded. This use effect will get load automatically. Okay, if you did not pass this empty array, it will execute infinite time. Okay, so make sure you pass it so that it will only execute once. And inside that, right, you can access the chat face data. Before that, I will define a constant, the use state, right, the kind of variable only. And here I will say, we can give some any name which we want to select. I will say um, chart face, sorry, chart face data, comma set chart face data. So what I did, I destructurized this use state. Okay, so in order to set value for this chat face data, we will set using this set chat face data. So for example, here you can say set chat face data, and then you can access this chat face data. So just access chart face data, and if you see, once you type it, you will see where you can access this particular file, right? So dot services and then charge based data. So if you click enter, you will see this import statement, right? So imported in your particular component, and now in chart face data you have all the information. Now you have information in chart face data. Now I will create another use state, right? In this, but this case I will say selected chart face data. So this will hold, sorry, this will help us to hold value for the selected chart face. Okay, so whatever chart face is selected, it will hold value for that one. Okay, so initially what we'll do, I just set chart face data. Initially I will set the first element of this JSON object. Okay, so I will set chart face data. Okay, and I want to show the zeroth element only. Okay, as simple as that. It's up to you how do you want to show, but right now I'm showing the zeroth element. Okay, oh, so we want to set for this one like this. We'll see once you start proceeding. So if you cannot convert undefined value to object, so what I will do, I just put this chart face data of zeroth element. Okay, because initially, right, once you set it, it will not reflect the chart face data immediately. So that's the reason I use this chart face data directly over here. Okay, now we have this zeroth element in the selected chart face data. Okay, now what I will do, I will start coding here. Okay, so inside this text tag we can write our code, and this is view tag. View tag is used to display on the screen, right? It's kind of div tag in the HTML. Now remove this one, I will say hello. Okay, this is my first text. Then I want to show the text whatever is in the selected chart face data. So I will in order to show this dynamic data, you have to write in curly braces, then add the select chart face data. Okay, and then you have to give the name, right? Because if you see, this is the name tag for that one, right? If I save it, you will see hello and the noi, right? But according to mockup, we have to show I am noi. So here I will suggest I am, and say I am noi. That's it, right? Now let's apply some styling to this one. Okay, so if you see, right, if I selected this particular charbot, its charbot is color is yellow, so I have to show this yellow color, right? That's the reason we give this color as a primary. Okay, so here I will say style, we will using the inline style. Okay, and inside style, in order to show the dynamic styling, right, means I want the custom color. So whatever the color we store in this selected chart page data, that color you want to show it, that time you have to apply some different styling. So different in the sense, you have to write in curly braces. Okay, then you have to give the square bracket, and again in the curly braces you have to give the dynamic data information. So in this case I want to show color, but color will come from selected JavaScript data dot primary. And if I save it, you will see this color change to yellow, because in the first element we have this color called primary. Okay, and this color code is nothing but a yellow colors. Okay, also if you want to give some default styling, so in this case the comma, you can give another curly braces, and then here you can define the font size. For example, I want to give font size to 30 pixel, oh sorry, 30. Okay, and save it. You see, it's reflecting. Okay. Copy this same styling because we want it for the I am, this keyword as well, I am, and the name of the chatbot. And if I save it, you will see this I am noi. Now if you want to make this text I am noi bold, you can give comma after font size, and then you can say, for example, text, sorry, font family, sorry, font weight to be bold, and save it. You see, change, right? Now what I will do, I will put it everything in center, so give some styling to this one. Okay, and this is very straightforward. In the curly braces, you can just say align item to be in the center. And if you want to give some padding from the top, just give padding from top, and let's give some, for example, 90. Okay, perfect. See, very quick. Correct. Now next is to display this image. Correct. So after this text, I will display the image. Okay, so for this one, you have to import the image tag from the React Native. Okay, otherwise it will not work. In the tag, and here you have to provide the source. See, source. This is the source keyword, and in the curly braces, again we have, because we are using the image source from the URL, right? Then you have to give the double curly braces. Then you have to say URI. Okay, and then you have to give the URL of this particular image. So in this case, the URL is we are getting from the selected chart face data dot, if you see right here, the image. So you have to call image and then save it. Now once you say it, you'll see, okay, we don't see anything because you have to give some parameter called width and height in this case, right? So let's give some styling. Here I will give width to be like 150, and then height to be 150, and also I will give some margin from the top. So let's say margin, and save everything. See, it's work, right? Your chatbot information the image is showing on the screen. Perfect. Next we have this particular text called how can I help you. So in order to show it, just simple text and just say how can I help you, and save it. Now let's apply some styling to this one. So it's very straightforward. In the text tag, add style, double curly braces, and just give some margin from top to, for example, let's say 30, and give font size to be 5, and save it. See, it's work. Perfect. Now we have to show this list of all the chatbots, right? But the only chatbot which is not selected, correct? Otherwise we have to show the or unselected chatbot. So what you have to do is, we will put define view. Inside view we will show this list of chatbot. So we, in the React Native, we have very popular tag called flat list, right? So flat list is used to display the iterative list of the any object or anything, right? For example, you have to define the flat list, just type flat list, and you have to import the flat list from the React Native. Okay, so in the flat list you have to provide some they have flat list have inbuilt properties, and then that is the required properties in order to show the flat list. So first of all is data, right? Which data you have to provide for this flat list. So in this case our data is the uh, chart face data, correct? So just provide chart face data. Then after that you have to render the items, right? So in order to render item means to show the item, right, iteratively. So you have to define like this. So let's say item, and make sure the curly braces, this arrow function need to be similar like this, right? Otherwise it will not work. It will not throw any error, but it will also not work. Okay, instead that I will show view in the tag of this view. Perfect. Okay, now view is ready, correct? Now we have to show the image. Let's say image and the source, right? Here you have to provide source from the URI, and now you have to you can access your image from the item because it's contain a single object. So item dot image. Again you can give some styling, otherwise it will not work. So give some styling. Let's say width of 40, comma height of 40. Okay, let's bring this down here. Perfect, and save it. See, it's work, correct? Now another thing what you have to do is coming vertically, right? To make it horizontally, it's very easy. You don't need to do any styling. Just for the flat list you have to say horizontal, give value as a true. By default it's false, but once you make it true you will say it come horizontally. See, now let's give some margin. So for this style I will give some margin. So let's say margin, just say margin 15. See magic. See, perfect. Now the important thing is, right, what I said, that once you select this any chatbot, that chatbot not display over here, right? If you see this mockup, the selected chatbot will not display here, right? So what you can write, we already defined the selected chart face data, right? So here you can write if selected chart face data dot id is not I okay, so start base data id is not equal to item dot id and then put an border. So this condition need to be valid, okay, and then this one, otherwise that then only you can able to render that particular item. And if I save it, you will see the selected chartboard is no longer showing on this particular list. Perfect. So now if you see, right, we already have all this information, right? And if you see the mockup, there is some it's not visible but we have some background for this one, right? So what I will do, for this particular view, right, I will add the background. So let's say style, and first of all let's give some margin from the top. Let's say margin top 20, then add the background color, okay. So you can directly add the background color. So I have the color code, so I will keep it put like this, and make align item to be in the center, and then you can go ahead some padding margin like this. Okay, I have already copied and save it. Perfect. You can add one more text, okay. So what I will do, after this flat list I will add this text, okay, just saying choose your favorite buddy, chat buddy, and some styling to this one, okay, like this. Perfect. Now we pretty much completed this one, but now how to implement this on click? Right now it's not working, right? So for this view, change this view to touchable opacity. So touchable opacity, if you don't know what is touchable opacity, you can watch my previous some previous React Native course, or you can go to official website of the Expo, okay. So touchable opacity will give you capability of the click events, okay. So you can click the items. Now if I click on this today, then it will work, right? So right now we did not add any properties, but for touchable opacity we have a property called on press event, okay. And for the on press event you can define function like this, okay. And just for example console log, you'll see click, right? If I save it, I click on it, right? See the little effect you will see here, and in console you will see the click event. Say click, 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 right? Perfect. Now what I have to do, we'll create one method, okay, about this one. So let's call one method called constant, okay. And let's say on chart face press is, okay. So this will be right now we will just add the id, okay. So we have to pass id from here. So what we will do, for this on press event, remove this console log and call this method called on chart face press, okay. And here I will pass the id. So in this case our id will be item dot id. So what we will do, what we can do, we pass the id here, okay. You can console the id, but yeah, it will be in the will be here, right? And now you can use this id to set the new chart face. So in order to set the new chart face, we have the state called state selected chart face data, and here you can call this chart face id, chart face data. This one you can call chart face data, and inside that you can provide the id, whatever id you want it, right? And save it. Now you will see this change. If I click this one, right, you see, but it's not getting the what we wanted, the exactly one, right? We're selecting one and it's showing different one. The reason is, right, in the on press event we are passing the item dot id, correct? But item dot id will be start from the 0123, correct? But item is little different. So what you have to do, for this id just say id dot minus one and save it. If I click this one, you'll see this one. If I see click on this one, you'll see this one, right? See, and I automatically remove from the list. If I select the first one, right, it remove from the list and replaces with the not selected one, right? And if you see the color is also changing, okay. And this list is also getting updated automatically because of we added this condition, right? Selected chart face data dot id is not equal to item dot id. So it's quite simple, right? Now the last thing for this particular screen is this button. Okay, so for button also we can add the touchable opacity. Okay, so just add the touchable opacity like like this, and inside the touchable opacity I will add text. Okay, and for that text just give some styling, so I will add the styling like this, the left chart. Okay, and if I save it, let me bring some here. Okay, so and let's add some styling. So I will add some styling to this touchable opacity as well. So I will add some styling to this like this. Okay, let's chart. Right now color is white. That's the reason it's not showing. Okay, and let's add some button styling to this one. So style here I will say background color will be the same color we want from for this text, right? So I will say selected. So in this case, right, obviously we are showing it as a dynamic, so you have to show in a square bracket, then curly braces, and then you can set background color. So in this case the selected chart face data dot primary. Perfect. Now in another curly braces, let's give some padding. So I will give some padding to this one. So padding to be 7, maybe 16 or 17. Okay, like this. And we can give width. So for the width, right, I will give width, and we have property called dimension, right, in the React Native. So from dimension, then we have, if you click on that one, then we have dimension dot gate. Inside this gate, we have option called screen or window. So in this case, I will select the screen. Okay, and then whatever you want width or height. So in this case we want width, and if I save it, you will see it's coming like this, right? But we don't want to touch to the screen, so I will multiply it by 0 0.6, and then it will show like this. Also let's add some border radius to be 100, so it'll be a rounded corner, and let's say a line item to be in the center, so text will become in the center. Okay, and also let's give margin from the top, so let's say margin from the top like 30. Okay, perfect. Our list tab text also ready, right now it's not pressable because it's we did not add on press event, but according to our UI, our the home screen is ready. Perfect. Next, we will implement the actual charting application. But for that one, right, we are using the Bard API in order to fetch the data, whatever user written, right, and to get the answer, we are using the Bard API. So for that one, we are using the Next.js to build the API, the Express API. Okay, and you also understand how to build the Express API. The reason that I'm using the Express API because we can able to deploy that one freely on Vercel. So everything I will show you in this particular lecture. So now, in order to create a Bard API, right, we are going to use a Next.js so that we can write the REST API with the help of next.js so that we can easily and freely can deploy it on a Vercel. So if you go to the nextjs.org, it's official website of next.js. Here you will see to create the or a command to create the next application. Okay, so first of all, let's go to your project folder. Here, open the command prompt. So just type npx create next app. Okay, and then give uh, the name of the project. Okay, so in this case I will say Bard API. Okay, and say enter. Now say yes to proceed. Okay. And now it will install the React DOM, and next, if you see, right, it will take some time. Once everything is installed, let's go to the project folder. So just type cd and the name of the project. Okay, so in this case is Bard API. Okay? And then open the VS Code by typing code space dot, and it will open the VS Code, okay, with the project. If you see, right, you don't need to know anything about the next.js, so don't worry about that, right? Don't worry about the any folder structure in this particular course, because we are just focusing on the creating the API with the help of next.js. So if you go to the public, oh sorry, in pages, right, you will see this API, correct? Here we are going to write the code. Before that, let's go to terminal, and in new terminal just run the this particular project. Just type npm run dev, and then it will open the local the port number localhost 3001. So I will open it here, okay, and just give some time to load it. Okay, now this is a front page, we don't care about this one, right? If you go to the API slash hello, okay, and enter, you will see this response call name John Doe. Okay, the reason is, in the API folder, in the pages in the API, we have a file called hello.js, okay, and it's returning joe.t. If you just type, for example, type to TubeGuruji. If you did not subscribe to my channel, please do subscribe. And if I save it now, okay, and now go back to our application, refresh this API call, and if you see, name is subscribe to TubeGuruji. This is how simple it is, right? So this is the API we wanted. Now for Bard API, let's create one new file called bard-api.js, or just call Bard API like this. Okay. Now we don't have anything, right? We need a code. So let's go to the um, Palm Google API. Just type it like this. Okay, you will see the first couple of links, right? So first of all, let's go to Palm API. Let's see. Okay, and here you will see this particular front page, right? So go to MakerSuit. Okay, once you launch this makersuit.google.com, it will ask you to log in. So I already log in. Okay, here you will see the different type of prompt. Okay, and here you can create a new API key as well. Okay, for now we want to create the chart prompt, right? You can create text prompt, data prompt, or chart prompt. Okay, and if you see, if you click on create, right, here you can test it. Okay, for example, if I type hi, right, the model will give some response. Hey, hi, how can I help you, like this, right? So you can test it here. This is how simple it is. Second, if you go to the top section, right, here you will see get code. See, and click on JavaScript, because we are working on the JavaScript file. Here you will see this, all this information. See, right? Perfect. So this code we are going to copy it and paste it in our application. Okay. So just the thing is, you need to replace your API key. That's all. Okay. Now to get this API key, let's go back to create new. Oh sorry. Let's go back to this get API key. Say okay. And here you can create a new API key. Okay. So if I create new API key, so you can create it one. Right now I already have one. Okay, so I will use the existing one, but you can create a new one for you. Okay, I copied the same one, or just now you create a new one as well, right? So it's completely free for now, so you can use it. Okay, next let's add the necessary code and dependency for this Bard API. You understand where you can get this particular code, right? So go to jump prompt, and then in get code you will get this code. Now this is the documentation in order to install this Palm API, right? So if you scroll down, and here you will see different option called text, chart, and embedding. We are using chart, right? And you have to install the API client for this one, right? So this is the dependency. So first of all, copy this one and paste it in your project. So go to your next project, next.js project, and here just paste it. Oops, in terminal you can paste this particular dependency. Okay, then go back again, and then next you have to install this dependency. Okay, generate to language. So I install this dependency as well, and then that's all. So we have to obtain key, we already did it, right? And then you have to just copy this particular line of code. You can copy it from here or you can copy it from the existing one. Okay, I already have the code ready. Okay, so what I will do, I will go here and I will just paste it like this, right? And let me explain. Now, if you see, right, this is the basic code. The imported the required dependency, and then we have this model name. So right now we have chat based on, right, which is already there. I just added this API key, okay, and all everything is as it is, right. Some of the code I removed from here, right. So I don't want context, the message dot push anything, right. Now here I added this function, okay, so export default function handler, okay, and here I'm accepting this two parameter request and result, okay. So whenever I pass any of this what is say any of this query to this URL, it will accept it here and pass it as a content. Then this client dot generate message will create a response for us, and it will write the response like this, and then it will push it to the message. Okay, let's test it. I saved this everything. Let's go back here, and if you see, right, this is the endpoint where we are passing this our message, right. So I copy this one. Let's go back to a web browser, go to the 3001, okay, slash API slash bard API, okay. Then you have to give question mark space is equal to hi, for example. As soon as you hit the response, right, it will check the content and the another content, the which is nothing but the response from the um, bard API. Okay, so if I change this one and we'll say what is capital of North Carolina, for example, okay, and enter it. Will take some time and then it will give us the response. So we will wait for the response. So if you see, right, the question we ask and the content, which is nothing but the result, which is the bard API is responded. It's saying the capital of North Carolina is Raleigh. Okay, this is how it easy. Okay, perfect. Now we will use this API in our application. Okay, in our chatbot React Native application. Now we are ready with our API. Now let's call the API here. Okay, so in the service folder, create a new file called global api.js. Here we are going to use the Axios in our HTTP client in order to fetch the response from the any APIs. Okay, so if I search for the Axios dash HTTP, right, here you will see this how to install it and everything, right. Just copy this line of command and paste it in your project terminal. Okay, so this is very easiest way to access the any API endpoint. Okay, and here we can call it in our project. So first of all, let's define the base URL, okay, of our API endpoint. So in this case, our endpoint is the sorry, this one, right. This is nothing but my IP address of my system, and this is the port number. Okay, so our port number is 3001 slash API slash bard API. Okay, then let's add the endpoint here. So we'll say get bard API, and here we will send the message, right. So we when user puts a message, it will come up come up here, right. So I will set user message. Then we have to add the Axios call. Okay, so if you see this imported as well, dot, it's a get method, so get. Then we have to add the base URL, okay, and then we have to add the query. That's all. Okay, so quest is equal to plus and the user message, and then export this particular endpoint call. So export default and just say get bard API. That's all. Okay, as simple as that. Now once we export it, right, it will be accessible throughout the application. Now this API endpoint we will add it in our new screen called chart screen. So So now let's implement the chart screen. For that one, we will add the page. So go to the page folder and create a new page called um, chart screen.js and add the default function. So in this case, React Native function, and the default function I added. Okay. Now the here is thing, right? Once we are on the chart screen, right, from the home screen, when user click on the let's chart, we should able to navigate to the chart screen. So we need to implement the navigation. So for that one, we are using the React Navigation official library. Okay, so this is very easy to implement and to add the navigation in any React Native application. So for that one, go to the navigation.org. Here you will see this npm install. Okay, so this dependency you need to install. So go to copy that command and go to a project, open the terminal and paste the link. Then once you install this one, for the expo application you also need to install this extra dependency. Okay, just copy this one and then paste it. Okay. Once you are done with that, correct, then go to the maybe moving between the screen. Here you have to not here in the hello React navigation, right, we are going to use stack navigation. So if you don't know about stack navigation or tab navigation or any of these, again you can watch my the very popular React native course. Okay, the link is in the description. Now let's copy this command as well and execute this command, and then we all set to add the navigations. Okay, now in order to implement the navigation, go to the app folder, create a new folder called navigation for better structure of our applications. Inside the navigation I will add home screen navigation. Okay, this is the very initial screen navigation we will add. Here add the default function. Okay, now inside this one I will define constant called stack is equal to create native stack navigator. Okay, this is very important. If you don't know this implementation how to do it right, this example will help you to implement the stack navigation. Okay, now after that we will remove this line of code and we will add the stack dot navigator. Okay, inside this one you can add what type of screen do you want to show. So in this case I will add stack dot screen. Okay, exit the tab, and inside this one we can provide two components. First, the name of this particular navigation. Okay, so in this case is home, and then the component. Okay, which component do you want to navigate to? So in this case the default component means the initial component of our home navigation. We will add the home screen component. Okay, which is nothing but our home screen page. Similarly I will copy it here, and for the second screen like chart, I will add chart, and here I will add the chart screen. Perfect, same, that's all. This is the very first step to add the navigation. So if you have multiple one, you can add it here, and just you need to use this name in order to navigate it. Now another important part, now in go to the app.js, here you have to wrap this view, or sorry, this home screen inside the navigator. Okay, so if you see this example, this tag navigator is wrapped inside the navigation container. Okay, so just add the navigation container. Okay, and inside navigation container we need to remove this one, and now we have to add our home screen navigation. Okay, home screen navigation, and save it. If you so, you don't need any effect on the screen, right? But only thing is we are adding home screen navigation, and very first stack screen which we define here consider as a default screen. As soon as you define this navigation container, right, with the navigation you will see this extra navigation bar at the top is get added, right? So that is default behavior of any stack navigation. So in order to remove it, right, in the home screen navigation, inside the stack navigator we have option called screen options, right? Inside that one we have different properties called header shown, and for header shown make it false and save it. If you see, once you make the header shown false, it gone, correct? So now we are pretty much ready with our navigations. Okay, everything is ready. Now go back to our home screen, and if you remember, we have this slash chat button, right? So for this home screen, we will add new property for the touchable opacity called on press, and on for this on press, we will add the navigation. Okay. Before that, we have to add one hook, React navigation hook, sorry, and that is nothing but the put the constant call navigation is equal to use navigation. Okay, this navigation is imported from the React navigation slash native. Okay, now come down, and inside this our button on press event, we will just add navigation dot navigate where you want to navigate. So in this case, the navigation name is chart, right? So paste it here as a chart and save it. Okay, now if I click on the next chart button, if you see, it's navigate to the chart screen. Perfect. Now another thing, right, when we select any of this particular chart body, right, chart face, we need to send this information to the next screen, correct? So for this one, we have to send this selected chart face data. Okay, so what I will do, inside this navigation, okay, give comma, and inside the curly braces you can set selected chart face data and send the value is selected chart face data. So here I will say selected face only, and the value is selected chart face data. Okay, now once we send it here, right, in the um, chart screen, right, we can accept it here. Okay, in order to accept it, you have to define constant router is equal to use router, use route. Okay, so again, use route is get imported from the React navigation slash native. Okay, for this use route, it also has different type of properties. So in this case, we need parameters. Okay, because we send the parameters as a chart face. Okay, so once we set it as use route dot params, in the router we have the value. Now in order to get the value, right, I will add use effect. Add the use effect, make it pass it empty array, so it will execute only once, and just console this router. So, yeah, so inside, instead of router, I will say it as a param. I will just console the parameter. Okay, now if you come here, ignore this error. If I click on let's chart button, if you see, we got this information. Inside this param, we have option called select face, right? So select face, we can call selected face much more, it makes much more sense. Let me go back home screen, and here we'll add the selected face. Perfect. If I go back now, and if you see here, right, console, if I click on it, you will see selected face data, and then we have this id, image, name, primary and secondary, everything. Perfect. So now we have all the data which we needed for our chart screen. Now let's implement the chart screen. Now let's implement the chart screen. So in order to implement the chart UI, we are going to use third-party library called Gifted Chart. Okay, this is very popular library on the internet, and this is the one of the best library in order to implement the chart UI. Okay, so if you see the view of this one, right, it's very easy. You don't need to do any configuration, don't need to write any UI, but within a second you can implement the UI like this. Okay, it's very easy to add in your project. Just you need to copy this line of command and paste it in your project. So I will open here. Okay, open the terminal and paste it like this. Now the use case is quite simple. First of all, you need to add this gifted chart. Okay, and then you have the set message, which is the default message. Okay, so list of message we will add it here, and on send function, which is a callback function from the gifted chart. So let's implement one by one. So first of all, I will copy this gifted chart. You go to the chart screen and remove this text and paste it like this. Make sure you will import this gifted chart. Okay, so if you see the gifted chart implement from the React Native gifted chart. Okay, after that, you have to copy this all of this code. Okay, after that we will modify according to our need. Okay, so I will copy like this, and we already have the use effect. Okay, so I will remove this and paste it here, and I will remove this use effect, and I will put this on send after this use effect. Okay, perfect. Now make sure everything is imported. Okay, so let's check everything. So import the use callback as well. Okay, and look like everything's ready. If I save it, right, let's wait, and if you see now the file exists, so we have to restart our server. Okay, because once we import any new library we have to restart the application. So I will stop the server first, and then I will restart again. Okay,
A few minutes later.
so now once you are on the chat screen, right, you don't see anything, correct? So the reason is, right now the view is not the fully it's not in the not acquiring a whole screen, right? So what I will do, I will add some style and just add flex to one. Okay, and save it. As soon as you save it, you will see the change, right? Also, if you want, I will change the background color to white. So hash FFF, see the change, right? Perfect. Now you can able to add the message here. So for example, if I say hi and send it, I can able to send the information very easily. See how easy it is. Okay, so now let's add some logic here, right? So what we have to do, once we land on this particular page, right, on the chat screen, we have to call the our Bard API. Okay, so first of all, we just say hello developer. We can change this message because this is initial, so I will say hello. Okay, and then I will give the name of the um, chat face, right? So I will say hello, then I will add it like this, hello. What I will do, we are getting this select face, right? I will store it in one state, so I will do selected chart face comma set selected chart face is equal to use state. Okay, like this, and then just set the selected chart face here. So selected chart face data is equal to param dot selected face data. Okay, so we have this information as well. Okay, but for now what we can do, this is the instant use of this data, right? So I will add it like this, and dot name, and let's say whether we are getting proper information. See, hello Noi, because we selected the Noi, right? Just I will do this optional parameter. Sometimes if we did not receive any information, it will not give any error. Okay, perfect. Now we have all information, everything is ready, right? We can change the avatar. So avatar will become from the chart face, right? We have this random avatar, right? So replace this avatar with the image of our chatbot. So I will copy this line of code, and instead of name I will just add the image, and if I save it, you will see this our chat face data. See, okay, and if I type anything, I send it, everything works properly. Perfect. Okay, now let's call the Bard API. Okay, so I will add method after this same. Okay, constant get Bard response is equal to the arrow function. Okay, inside this we have to call the API, right? So let's say global API dot get Bard API, and here we have to send the message, right? So we have to accept message here. Okay, I will tell you how to use this particular method, then operator, and then response is equal to the whatever the response we are getting. Okay, so what I will do, I will, for now I will just print out the sample response. So let's say console dot response. Perfect. Now here once we get this message, right, because in the here we are getting this message, correct? So I will add if condition, if messages dot zero dot text. Okay, if it's there, then send it to get response bar, get bar response, and then send this particular text inside this one, right? So it contains the user message. Perfect. And save everything. Let's say type hi and send, and then wait for the response. Okay, so in the console we will get that response. So if you see, right, we are getting lot of parameter here, right? And if you scroll little up here, you will see some information. So let's see where it is. So if you see, right, in the response body we are getting, we send hi, and in the content it's replying how can I help you today. Okay, so now we are getting the response properly. So let's add that response and append that in our message, inside these messages, right? So it's quite simple. What you have to do, first of all you have to write if condition inside. Once we get this receive the message, we have to write if condition. Okay, and because we are using Axios, the response will be in the response dot data. Okay, and in the response, the first object is obviously 0 and 1 is a second object, and in the content field we have this our response. Okay, and here we'll accept that response. Okay, so what I will do, I will put constant, and the same structure what we have here, right, we will paste it here. So in this case I will just copy it and paste it like this. Okay, so paste it like this. Okay, obviously, wait, sorry. So we have to define some constant first. Chat API response is equal to like this. Okay, so we have ID, the random ID, then we have text, the created ad, and if you see, right, this text is nothing but the response from the API, the Bard API, correct? And then we have user ID 2, the name, whatever name you want to give, you can give it, and the chatbot face. Okay, and if I save everything, let's see if we miss anything here. We miss this one. Okay. Also, now we have this chat API response, correct? Now what you have to do, you just need to set this particular chat API response with this one, right? So we have to set a message, and then we have to just add this chat API response and then save it. Now if I say hi and send it, you will see the response from the, it's supposed to see, but we got some error. Let's see what's the error. So it's saying chatbot face does not exist. The reason is, okay, this chatbot face, because we are setting from this parameter, right? Let's add it here and then save it. Let's say hi now, and if you see, we get the response. See how quickly, right? But if you see here, right, we have we don't know whether the chatbot is replying or what, right? So we kind of want some loading things, right? So for that one, use add one use state. So here I will say loading comma set loading is equal to use state. Okay, and initially use state will be false. Now this use state will use to set up whether the message we are calling the API and waiting for it or not, right? And for that one we will set the value of loading true to false or false to true. Okay, so once the message is sent, right, here we will set the set loading to be true. Okay, and once we receive the message, here we will send set loading will be false. Also remember one thing, if sometimes it happens that user the API not reading anything because he don't know the answer, right? So that condition we also write. So here else condition we will write, and inside else condition, right, we will obviously set, we will add the set loading to be false, and then same chat API response I will write it here. Okay, so this particular response, wait, so I will just copy this response and paste it here. But in the case of text, right, we will replace sorry, I can't help you with it. So okay, we hard coded value. See, like this. Okay. And then user information, everything is added. So obviously we miss this, right? We have to set the message. So after this constant, just set this message API response and save it. Now let's type something, send it, and wait for the response, whether we are getting any response or not. And if you see, sorry, I cannot help you with it. See how easy it is, right? Perfect. Now the thing is to add the typing issue up with the chatbot is thinking kind of effect, we have to add it, right? Now in order to add the loading effect, right here we this gifted child also provide one property called is typing, right? And here if the is typing means the loading value is true, then it will show the typing effect, otherwise it will not, right? And that's why we said loading, right? And now if we set high, and if you'll see the loading effect, see how easy it is, correct? How can I help you today? So if I ask what is IPL, question mark, and if I send it, now it will think it, right? And this is the bubble effect, we got it, correct? Nice. Still thinking, still thinking. My internet little bit slow kind of, and if you see it, it send us some information regarding the IPL. Okay, all this information. So this is how this Bard API we integrate with the React Native is quite easy. Okay, now if I go back, choose any other uh, particular chart face, and if I go to the latest chart, you will see the chart face also change. See, and it's saying hello Pogo, correct? Now you can change the message whatever you want. I will just modify message a little bit. Okay, so let's say like this. So in the very first, right, I will replace this text with this one. So hello, the name of this chart face, and then how can I help you? If I save it, right? Oh sorry, so here I will just paste it like this. If I save it, select this one, let's chart. Oh, so ID is not exist. Let's me find this. Oh, okay, so here we don't need ID. Okay, just need name. You see, hello Noya, how can I help you, right? If I change to anything like this, let's chat, and you will see the change, how it is, how simple it is, right? You can even change this particular button as well, right? It's quite easy. So in order to change the send button, right, for example if I type send, okay, or we have different property actually. uh, so one of the property is to change the input toolbar, right? Or render scene, or there are various different properties. So for example if I search the render scene, right, this is a function, and how to use the custom icon, they give the example as well. So for example here they add this scene with this image and everything. Okay, and this is how you can also update our scene button. Okay, so guys, that's all for this particular course. Okay, I hope you understand, and this is how easy tutorial to build the Bard API, the AI API in our application, right? And so that this is just one case study of adding the chart of AI functionality in our application. So this functionality you can add in any application, right? So for example we previously built this React Native educational application, right? And here as well you can add this functionality in your application. Okay, so guys, for that's all for this particular video. I hope you enjoyed this particular course, and if you did not subscribe to my channel, please do subscribe. And if you have any question, any doubt, you can DM me on my Instagram channel or my Telegram channel, or you can comment in the comment section and press like button, because once we hit the 100 likes, I will add new course which is very interesting for everyone. So let's see you in the next tutorial.